Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Alright, folks, today we're diving deep into some explosive rumors that are swirling around the NFL landscape. And believe me, it's a story that could reshape the NFC East and, more importantly, the future of the Washington Commanders. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. What's the big deal? Washington's just doing their usual rebuild. But no, this is different. This is a move that's got serious implications, not just for the Commanders, but for the entire league, especially the Kansas City Chiefs, who are on the brink of something big themselves. And it all revolves around a name, Terry McLaurin. Yes, the talented, explosive wide receiver from Washington, who's been the heartbeat of their passing game for years now. Sources are indicating that Washington is engaging in what many are calling a fire sale, in a bid to free up cap space, around $11 million to be precise, and to rebuild a young, dynamic receiver core. And the star of this potential deal, none other than Terry McLaurin, a Pro Bowler and one of the most reliable deep threats in the league. But what makes this story even more intriguing is the destination being talked about, Kansas City, home to Patrick Mahomes and one of the most potent offenses in the NFL. The Chiefs, sitting comfortably at a 5-0 record and with a cap space of about $24 million, are reportedly in talks to acquire McLaurin, sending their second-round pick in 2026 along with an edge reserve, Joshua Uch, to Washington. Now, I know this might seem shocking at first glance, but when you look at the bigger picture, it starts to make a lot of sense for both teams. Let's start with Washington. The team is motivated to make this move because of their cap situation and their desire to focus on youth development. They're rebuilding their wide receiver core, looking to Jahan Dotson and other young talents to carry the torch in the coming seasons. Extending contracts for players like Jaden Daniels and Jonathan Allen is also on the table, but the main goal right now is to shed some cap weight, clear the deck, and focus on building for the future. McLaurin, despite his incredible talent, has been dealing with a prolonged quadriceps strain that's questionable for the next 8 weeks. His injury history, especially the hamstring issues that caused him to miss several games in 2024, has raised some eyebrows, and the team might see this as an opportunity to turn his value into draft capital and cap relief. Now, for the Chiefs, this is a move that could elevate their already potent attack to a new level. Kansas City is sitting pretty with a 4th ranking in offensive points per game at 34, and adding a deep speed artist like McLaurin, who in 2025 has already accumulated impressive stats: 14 receptions for 232 yards, averaging 16.6 yards per catch, with 2 touchdowns before his injury, could be the final piece in their playoff push. McLaurin's route running is comparable to some of the best in the league, and his ability to stretch defenses vertically makes him an ideal complement to the speedster Hollywood Brown, creating a nightmare scenario for defenses trying to contain Mahomes. And let's not forget McLaurin's incredible skill set. He's a 2019 third-round pick who's developed into one of the league's most reliable deep threats. His career stats are quite impressive: over 800 yards receiving and 38 touchdowns. His yards after contact and contested catch rate make him a versatile weapon, and his 89.7 PFF receiving grade in 2025 speaks volumes about his route savvy and hands. Despite some injury setbacks, his overall route grade of 91.1 and his ability to win in contested situations, thanks to his 76% contested catch rate, are proof of his elite level. Now, imagine McLaurin lining up next to Hollywood Brown in Kansas City's motion-heavy offense. It's a recipe for success. His ability to gain an extra 18 yards per reception and contribute to the passing game's efficiency, with EPA per pass of plus 0.22, could be transformative. Plus, his projection of reaching 10 yards this season is very realistic, especially with Mahomes throwing to him. It's a match made in heaven. The pairing of these two speedsters would create a deep threat nightmare, forcing defenses to respect the entire field and opening up even more opportunities for Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense. From a defensive standpoint, this move also benefits Kansas City. Their defense, ranked second in points allowed at just 14 points per game, can now focus more on their strengths, knowing that their offense is essentially unstoppable. The added vertical threat with McLaurin would likely reduce turnovers and improve their overall efficiency, making them even more dangerous in postseason battles. This potential trade also has historical echoes. Think back to the 2022 season, when the Dolphins' acquisition of Tyreek Hill dramatically boosted their offensive efficiency, with a plus 19% increase in offensive effectiveness. Kansas City, already a Super Bowl favorite, could see their odds improve from plus 400 to plus 250 with this kind of upgrade. Bookmakers are already taking notice, and the playoff odds for the Chiefs are looking even rosier with McLaurin's addition. 538's models suggest that their win probability could increase by as much as 9%, especially in cold-weather playoff games, where deep threats like McLaurin can be decisive. But beyond the on-field impact, this trade signifies a shift in how teams are approaching the deadline. Washington, by moving McLaurin now, is clearly prioritizing future flexibility and cap management over immediate gains. It's a smart move considering their current position, ranked 19th in passing yards per game, with an offense that's been somewhat inconsistent after losing Eckler to IR. They're focusing on developing their young players, building for the long term, and possibly reaping draft picks that could turn into stars in a few years. Meanwhile, Kansas City's willingness to absorb a significant cap hit and give up a second-round pick demonstrates their commitment to maximizing their Super Bowl window. They've built a team around Mahomes, Andy Reid, and a core of talented players, and now they're adding another piece that fits perfectly into their scheme. It's reminiscent of their previous moves that have always been about staying ahead of the pack, about pushing their offense to an unstoppable level. Looking at the bigger picture, this move also reinforces the idea that the NFL is shifting towards a more dynamic, fast-paced style of play, where deep threats are gold. Teams that can stretch the field and force defenses to cover every inch of the field are the ones that succeed in today's league. McLaurin, with his blazing speed and reliable hands, embodies that philosophy perfectly. And when paired with Mahomes, who's already one of the most creative and dangerous quarterbacks in NFL history, you get a recipe for potential greatness. Of course, there are skeptics. Some analysts point out that McLaurin's injury history could be a concern, especially with his quadriceps strain and previous hamstring issues. But in the NFL, it's always about the risk versus reward. And right now, the reward for Kansas City looks enormous. They're betting on McLaurin's talent to help them close out this season and potentially make a deep playoff run, possibly even a Super Bowl. And for Washington, it's about building the future, collecting draft capital, and resetting their cap sheet to give their young talents room to grow. Now, let's talk about the broader implications for the NFC East. If this trade goes through, it's a clear message to the rest of the division that the Commanders are willing to shake things up and make bold moves. It's also a reminder that the league's landscape is changing rapidly, with teams like Kansas City setting the bar higher in terms of offense and strategic thinking. For fans of the Commanders, it might be tough to see McLaurin go, but if this move helps the team rebuild and position itself for future success, it's a calculated risk worth taking. And from a playoff perspective, having a deep threat like McLaurin in the Chiefs, Arsenal could be the difference maker in close games, especially in playoff atmospheres where every yard counts and defenses tighten up. His ability to create separation, win contested catches, and gain yards after contact makes him one of the most valuable players in this potential trade. Imagine Mahomes throwing to him in the cold, in pressure-filled moments. His speed and route savvy could be the X factor that tips the scales in Kansas City's favor, pushing them closer to another Super Bowl appearance. So to wrap it all up, what we're seeing here is more than just a simple trade rumor. It's a strategic chess move by two smart organizations, Washington, aiming to shed cap space and develop youth, and Kansas City, looking to strengthen their already formidable attack. If this deal goes through, it could be one of the most impactful moves of the season, setting the stage for a fascinating playoff race and possibly cementing Kansas City's status as the team to beat in the NFL. The implications for the NFC East and the league at large are enormous. We're witnessing a moment that could define the future of both franchises and the league itself. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you think moving McLaurin is the right move for Washington? Or do you believe they're giving up too much? Would you like to see him stay and fight through his injury? Or are you excited about the future that this trade could bring? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay passionate, stay informed, and keep supporting your team.